I was doing the crossword puzzle when my finger got stuck in the light socket. I leaned down to plug in the lamp, and I must have accidentally stuck my finger into the socket. I don't know how the chair ended up on top of me, but I couldn't work up the strength to move it off. I had no feeling in my legs, and my upper body was virtually useless. I could flail erratically around, but I couldn't get out from under the chair. It must have been a really sturdy chair. I was forced to accept my circumstances, and the hours began to slowly pass by. My field of vision was very limited. To keep myself grounded, I had to find a way to pass the time. I had to force myself to engage with the things around me. Anything that was more than 3 feet away became inessential. The items in my immediate vicinity became really important. There were 3 objects. Together they formed somewhat of a semicircle around me. On my left side was the crossword puzzle that I hadn't really begun. 2 objects were on my right. One was a handbook with the writings of Chairman Mao. The other was a container of Q-tips. I don't know where the book came from. I wasn't familiar with it. It must have fallen from the bookshelf when I was thrashing around. The Q-tips were there because I had cleaned my ears earlier. I was able to lift my head and make slow motions. The book seemed to be the only thing that could potentially take my mind off my situation. The book was open to page 104. The Great Leap Forward. Chairman Mao seemed to be an optimist, and I appreciated that. All this talk of leaping would get me back on my feet. Mao's writing seemed to speak to me. Every sentence in the book seemed to have different layers of meaning, and I began to pick up on an allegorical layer that seemed designed for someone in a situation exactly like myself. After nearly 2 days, I wasn't making great leaps forward, but I was making progress on a less heroic plane. I began counting the Q-tips. I had 2 reasons for choosing this course of action. It kept me occupied and in a goal-reaching state of mind. And also, knowing the things around me could only help with my own problems. It was difficult to count the Q-tips because I couldn't mark the ones I had counted. It required a great degree of visual and mental commitment. In the end, I counted 416. 416 is perfectly divisible by 104. The page that had fallen open in the Mao book. These coincidences were perhaps evidence of a larger truth. Page 208 of Mao's book, exactly 104 pages after page 104, I found the quote, "Know the enemy and know yourself, and you can fight 100 battles with no danger of defeat." In relating the quote to my own experiences, I decided to read the chair as my enemy, or maybe the light socket. I knew the Q-tips and the crossword puzzle were definitely my allies. I was establishing a relationship between myself and these things. These were my comrades, and we had many things in common. I was regularly discovering connections, and I was pushing towards a great leap. I applied Mao's view of peasant revolutionary strategies to the geography of the Q-tip container. If the middle Q-tips represented urban centers, then the outer circles represented the rural peasant classes. As you pull the Q-tips out of the center of the tray, the outer Q-tips fall into the gap, forming a homogeneous pile. The bourgeois Q-tips are forced out of the pile, leaving a classless worker state. The crossword puzzle seems to be a Maoist vehicle as well. The puzzle is essentially like an ideal communist state. There are no hierarchies or class divisions. Every box matters, every word counts equally. No one answer is more prestigious than another. No one answer is more prestigious than another. There's also not merely one winner. As Mao says on page 412, 208 pages after 104, we should find the internal relations of events occurring around us. We should find the internal relations of events occurring around us. I suppose that somehow the connections between the objects will help me escape from under the chair.